Hello, welcome into the Fantasy Sanctuary. It is Best Ball. We are back on another Wednesday stream. It was going to be Justin Herzig this week, but for reasons outside of his control, he's had to postpone. So you are here with me, and it is going to be a fun one. Tonight, we're not just drafting one team. We're not just drafting 2, 3, 4. I'm going to draft 5 teams at once. It's going to get a little bit crazy. We are going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm going to be drafted in the DK Millie Maker, and we'll also put some entries into the DK $3, the new contest, which is launched over there at the minute. We're going to get into it very quickly. So if you are in the stream and wanting to jump in, let me just pull up this screen. You're going to have to bear with me a little bit tonight as I'm the only person here. There are going to be a few moments where I have to just take a little time to get things set up. But let's get the first Draftkings $10 Millie Maker going in right now. We're going to jump straight into another on the back of that. If you haven't already, this is a fantastic tournament in my opinion. There's going to be plenty of overlay. It's a good one to be jumping into a few of. So I'm going to jump into 3 of these straight off the bat and see how quickly they fill. I'm at 75 entries before these 3. So now we're going to get things rolling. Now is the time where you want to be really picking up the volume. You know, we're at that point in the season where, training camp is here. It's happening. It's there's going to be a lot of news and a lot of stuff going on. Looking at the first one, plenty of familiar names in here who are going to be in at least the first one. What we'll do is we're going to kick off the first 3. And as the first 3 get going, then we're going to jump into another 2 as we go. If you were in the drafts, let us know. I do want to hear that you're in these with me. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. We have the first one. There we go. Yep. First one's filled already. Second one up to 3 of 12. And who's in that one? Got a couple of people we know in that one already, and then the third one's sitting waiting to fill. So the first one, I'm going to be picking at pick 8, right behind my good friend James at pick 7. And then Death Angel back at 11. Lost count of the amount of streams she's been in. So if you haven't done a lot of drafts on the go before, it's something I'd recommend doing. You really want to hone in your decision making with it. It really helps an awful lot of stuff. Like, I find that when you do this kind of stuff, you're not overthinking stuff. And the moment when you're in a fast draft, like, I get messages from people who are like, yep, who do I take here? What about this? What about that? What about that? For me, I rarely ever put a huge amount of thought into it because I do so many of these drafts and so many of these contests where it's like, okay, this decision, these are the players I like, this is the structure I like, and you just fall into a rhythm of them. And tonight, it's going to get a little bit crazy. It's going to get a little bit wild. There's going to undoubtedly be a few points where some picks go a little bit wrong. I feel like this one shouldn't get cancelled. I feel like it's very plus EV for everyone drafting against me. As Rich says, it should be interesting above all else. But right now, this is a time where I need to up my volume. I'm at 75 drafts. I am going to get to 150 by the time the season kicks off in, 43 days? 43 days. So if you talk about, right, I want to do 75 drafts in this. I want to do 20 drafts in the new $3 Millie Maker. And then I also want to hit the free max, which is the $9. I want to hit the single entries and anything else which Draftkings throws up in that time. I want to enter. So we're probably talking a good 100 or so drafts between now and then. And that's even if they don't launch something bigger and better. So I have pick 8 in the first draft, pick 10 in the second draft, and then we're still waiting for the third draft to finish. To fill. Just got there with 12 picks there. So we are going to be getting going. And once these 3, once I've got a couple of picks going with them, then I'm going to throw into some $3 contests as well. James saying he's in, one of our good followers and subscribers here. If you want to join James and get exclusive access to the Discord, see emojis that only members can use, you can do that from 99p a month. You get access to loads of stuff from me and Rich and a really great community over on Discord. Death Angel saying he's at 57 tonight, so might need to try and do a bit of this. This is the future. Multi-tabling, it really, it definitely isn't easy. So we've got pick 12 of a back. That's going to be nice, being able to double tap a couple of picks there. This first draft played out pretty normally. Jefferson, Chase, McCaffrey, Cup, Kelsey. Nothing too crazy here. I think in terms of what I'm going to be looking to do, I'm going to be scooping a lot of ADP value tonight. Always draft off rankings. I'm not somebody, off ADP. I'm not somebody who loads rankings in, because I feel like looking at what the market's doing and looking what ADP is doing helps me. But I do have a spike week overlay, which tells me how much people have moved up and down over the last few days. Stephon Diggs, 1% in this Millie Maker tournament, only 4% overall. But I'm going to draft it. I feel like Stephon Diggs is a player who could have a path to failure this year. But 1% in the Millie Maker doesn't really feel great. And 4% overall is something I kind of, first round picks, I want to be at about 5% overall. So, yeah. Shout out to Peanut Butter and Waivers. Excellent name. Good to have you here tonight. If you are here for the first time and this is how you're finding this channel, hit the subscribe button. We've got Justin Herzig coming on next week. We've got a load of other great guests coming on through August. We're currently pumping out loads of redraft content. You are definitely going to want to make sure you stay subscribed and carry on joining us for the rest of August and into the season, where we have loads of exciting plans. Coming up on our second pick in this first draft, Jalen Hurts goes at the 112. So that's Bijan Robinson, Jalen Hurts pick. That's an unusual combination, not one I've seen a lot of. Nick Chubb goes one pick before us. So adding to Stephon Diggs here. Why not? Let's start that one with two wide receivers and then hop over to the second draft, where we're a couple of picks away. Patrick Mahomes going of 108. I haven't seen that. Bijan Robinson going ahead of Austin Eckler. Honestly, I think that's going to be how it plays out by the time that everything locks in at the end of the season. I've been high on Bijan Robinson all off season, and I've gotten higher on Austin Eckler in recent weeks, but I really do feel that Bijan Robinson, you can make an argument for him as the running back one overall. Going to get through a couple more picks and then jump into the $3 drafts and get them underway. On the clock here, I'm not going to take Stephon Diggs twice in the space of a couple of drafts. I'm going to go down to A.J. Brown. That feels fine to me. Like 6 picks away in the third draft. And then we're 1 pick away on this one. I was kind of hoping that Amon-Ra went 1 pick before. I was hoping one of him or Lamb might have made it back to us. But instead, we'll just take Nick Chubb and see how things roll. Let's pull up the lobby and get ready for the $3. So it will be the 500K play action. I've already maxed the 600K play action. So I will be pulling up that lobby, and I will let you know when I'm about to jump in that one. Because as I'm sure you're aware, drafting against me as I do all this is probably not the greatest for me. Rory, shout out to you in the second draft. Let us know how you feel as your draft goes on. And Peanut Butter and Waivers, I will absolutely let you know as I go which are my favorite teams, but you might have to wait till the end for some of these recaps because it's going to get a little crazy along the way. Back on the clock, almost for the 112 turn here. Bijan Robinson goes just before us. Let's see, Amon-Ra St. Brown lining up at Lions practice, catching lots of red zone balls. I don't know if you noticed, but Amon-Ra St. Brown was tackled inside the 5 more than any other player last year. So go ahead. And I'm going to pair him with Devontae Adams because I have no Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra St. Brown pairings so far. Nearest pick away is 5. But let's jump into one of the $3. And also just pull up another, getting ready for another one. So it's 5 of 12 and about $3 currently. And why not? No time like the present. We'll just jump straight into another one. I'm going to get to all your comments and questions as we go, but it might just take little breaths in between stuff as as we get a little wild tonight. So nearest one, we're 3 picks away, and it's this team in the first draft. Stefan Diggs, Jalen Waddle. Josh Allen went to an unstacked team. Mahomes went to the Kelsey team. Jalen Hurts went early. I mean, look, guys, if you're going to give me Lamar, I'm going to take Lamar, particularly when I can correlate him with Jalen Waddle. Week 17, that matchup, you know, when they played in week 2 last year, it was absolutely a points bonanza. So, yeah, I see a few of you lurking in the $3 one as well. So, good to see that a few of you are getting in on the multi-table in action. Where we're at, we've got 7, 10 picks, 18 picks away, and then the $3 are still filling. We've Jamal Williams knew that stat. Jamal Williams absolutely knew it. After this show at 11 p.m. UK time and 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be on Fourth Force channel with John Daigle on the Best Ball Happy Hour show, and he has been hammering that stat home about how much Jamal Williams benefited from Amon-Ra getting tackled inside of 5. Pick 2 in the first of the $3. Second one, where we at? 5 of 12, so there's still room in there if you want to jump in. Got a few of you. I see you guys. Still waiting on the clock to tick around. I will be taking my wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, in that one if it comes off. 4 picks away on the first one. Let's see, 4, 5, 14, 1, and still waiting for 4 to fill in the $3. The $3, it launched this weekend, so that one is the second $3.20 max that DK are offering. It's a 229-person final. I think it's a good one to be in no matter what your budget is. Basically, if you take one team to the final, then you're going to have made a profit on it. It's $150 for just making the final in that one. We're still edging closer on that first $3. 1 pick away, 3 pick away, 10 picks away, and 1 pick away. Doing quite nicely. Nice 0 RB build going here. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins. Brandon Tigers, let my clock tick down or let me catch a breath. Takes Amari Cooper, and I will take nobody particularly that I like here, but I'm going to take Christian Kirk, going to reach down there. Taking Cooper Kupp at 102, my wide receiver 2, feel very bullish on him this year. Then hopping over to another of the $10 milli makers where I'm 1 pick away. I have AJ Brown, Nick Chubb starting this one. Obviously, Jalen Hurts doesn't make it back. But again, look, this is going to be one where get guys that I like. Deebo Samuel, good conversation in the Fantasy Sanctuary Discord today about how Deebo Samuel was Brock Purdy's preferred target at times today. When all the players were healthy, he was getting the ball. When Christian McCaffrey joined the team, he only saw his touches per game drop from 8.0 to 7.8, so I'm fine gambling on him for this year. Look, 4th round, Lamar Jackson. We know where this is going. I'm not going to apologize for it tonight. There's drafts where I will turn down that kind of value, but you guys know me. I'm a Ravens fan. It's going to happen. So we are 10, 25, 15. The newest $3 one. We'll be picking up a 107, but we got 45 seconds before our draft starts. Hop over there. Michael saying that inspired me. He's doing the double $3. It's a good way to sharpen the senses. We've got Fantasy Football Garage in the chat. Big up to him. Love his channel. Really good guy. Love the intensity of making these picks on the clock all at once. It's good. I've got a feeling that after all of this, I'm going to need a little sit down before I join John Daigle on 4 for the Best Ball Happy Hour, catch my breath, maybe even pop down to my hotel bar and grab a Guinness. We're 1 pick away. Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams here at the turn. We're going to go, gotten some similar picks here. Got time to think it. We'll take Lamar. This is getting very homely, though. So let's reach down and be a little bbit different. And I'm going to take Travis Etienne, a player I've barely drafted at all, somebody I'm not that high on. But this feels like the kind of draft to get a little different at points if need to. Etienne, I kind of worry about, this isn't the head coach who drafted him. This isn't the GM who drafted him. I worry about the fact that Doug Pederson, unprompted at the combine, talked about wanting to get a running back and not wanting this to all be on Travis Etienne. But hey, Travis Etienne, maybe he sees more high volume touches. It's worth mixing that in every now and again. It's worth remembering, I'm talking about drafting 150 teams. And if I'm wrong on Travis Etienne, it's okay to have one or two teams that will hedge against that. Back up on this team, Stefan Diggs, Jalen Waddle, Lamar Jackson, Christian Kirk, Justin Herbert at the top, Alexander Mattison, George Kittle, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson is the man for this one. And then let's hop over to the first $3 where we are approaching pick 8, which was our first pick there. Again, it's Stefan Diggs, AJ Brown sort of conundrum, but I'm going to Bijan Robinson. I mean, I couldn't be any higher really on Bijan Robinson. I think there's a very realistic scenario where he ends up as the RB1 this year. That running game in Atlanta, they've done things to really push their offensive line up a level, and they can be really, really good. The only problem is Tyler Algier. And anyone who drafted Michael Carter last year will tell you how that kind of worked out in that situation. On the clock for our second round pick in the first of the $3, Jonathan Taylor makes it back to pick 23. We'll start with a Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor pairing. That feels fine. And then we are 3, 8, 14, 1, and 6 picks away. Let's go back on the clock. We have Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp. Let's go down to Ramondre. I think people are still a little bit worried about picking Ramondre because there's all this talk about the Patriots bringing in players and running backs and seeing how they do. But it doesn't feel that urgent for them at the same time. On the clock on this team where we have Diggs, Waddle, Lamar, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, let's add Gabe Davis to the mix there. I like that. Gabe Davis played last year with a high ankle sprain. We do have 2 teams that are 4 picks away. So in this team, I'm just going to add a few to the queue just in case. And then battling between 2 3-pick teams with AJ Brown, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Lamar Jackson over on one side of things. And then over here, we just sneaked ahead to 2 picks, 1 pick away. I have Bijan, so likely going with a wide receiver here. I would like Jalen Waddle to follow me. Michael Harry, 1 pick ahead of me. I could tell he was going to do that. Michael likes a 0 RB build or likes a wide receiver heavy build, so I'll take Saquon. Buying that dip because it feels like Saquon really should be a first-round pick before all is said and done. Jumping back over this team, 1 pick away, AJ Brown, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Lamar Jackson. We have Alexander Mattison, George Kittle, Cam Akers, Deontay Johnson, Trevor Lawrence, Chris Godwin at the top of things. George Kittle goes, which is fine. He's not a player I would have taken. Chris Godwin, I feel like that Jarvis Landry role can be there with Baker Mayfield at the helm of the offense. I'm going to try and lean into that. He's a player that I've got plenty of faith in for this year. I'm going to get back to some questions and comments in a moment. We are 1 pick away, 4 picks away, 5 picks away, 11 picks away, and 9 picks away. This team on the turn, CeeDee Lamb, Stefan Diggs, Breece Hall, Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence, Alexander Mattison. That's a nice team. Do like that. I have a 1-1-3-0 build. So I'm going to reach down to Tyler Lockett, pairing there. 1 pick away on the very first team, the furthest one that we've got, where I went Diggs, Waddle, Lamar, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis. Obviously, I don't have Josh Allen, but I'm fine with that. I think, basically I've got two of the best offensive options that Josh Allen has, and that can be fine. We'll take Damian Pierce as our first running back on that team, and then we're on the clock on another of $10 teams where we have Amon Ra, Devontae Adams, Lamar, Travis Etienne. This team needs more wide receiver. Oh, we can take Trevor Lawrence for a stack. Why don't we do that and figure out the rest of it as we go? And we do have Alexander Mattison falling half a round past ADP, so that feels like okay value. The last of the $3, the earliest one, we have two picks away. Anyone knows me, 2 running back starts to make me feel twitchy. So there is definitely a wide receiver in play here. Gretz gets Eckler, Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson stack. That's nice. I haven't seen too many of those falling through to the middle of the third round. Currently 1 pick, 2 pick, 20 picks, 14 picks, and 4 picks away. Time for a nice stretch. Keenan Allen goes 1 spot ahead of me. I absolutely would have taken Keenan Allen there. Double running back start, but do we push it with 3? Let's push it with 3 because we are on the clock elsewhere. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. DJ Moore, welcome to the team. Take Justin Fields if he makes it around the corner there. On the clock elsewhere. Ooh, the pressure is starting to build now. Let's take Zay Flowers to add to that Lamar Jackson stack. Okay, reaching a little bit there. Oh no, that's a catastrophe. Just absolutely close the tab when I meant to open it. Gonna have to find that one. That's gonna be we'll get back to that one. That one might be on auto for a minute or two. 3 picks away. Let's get Debo Cooper. Just line up me. Oh, this isn't good. Draftkings freaking out left, right, and center now. 10, 7, 8, and currently 1 pick away, as well as the team which we lost, which we will find. It was let's see. There's a milli, 500, a milli, and a milli. I think it's a 500 one. If you're in that draft and you can drop the link into the StreamYard for me so I can click it nice and easily, that would make my life a lot easier. Deebo Samuel added to the team. Is this it? No, we've got that one elsewhere. 5, 4, 6, and 13 away currently. Right. Am I back? I feel like I'm back in them. 4, 12, 13. This feels okay. Yep, we're back in. It's like nothing ever happened. Okay, so let's get on top of it. 2 picks away through 6 rounds with Lamar, AJ Brown, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Chris Godwin, and Tyler Lockett. That one feels fine. J.K. Dobbins, 6 past ADP, but we're going to go with Jordan Addison. Easy path to him seeing 100 targets this year. Easy path to him being the wide receiver, the rookie wide receiver 1. If you haven't already, check out our video on must draft rookie wide receivers. That's a lot of fun. Me and Rich put that out a couple of days ago. We'll take Jahan Dotson there. We are on the clock in another place. Let's take Jahan. Let's take Addison again. 2230, and we'll take Pickens, somebody who I'm not massively high on, but I feel like I need to take him down again. 1160. We will take Antonio Gibson right at the top of ADP. Nearest one, 4 picks away. How are we doing? Feel like I got over that little. There was definitely a good 2 or 3 minutes of panic there, try to get everything back on track, but it feels like we're okay now. Nearest one, 2 picks away, which is a 310 in the $3. Bijan Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Deebo Samuel. This is definitely a team that arguably we can be looking at a 4 RB build here. I've done a couple of them lately. Might push it to 5 most because of shared bye week by Saquon and Josh Jacobs. But it doesn't, depending where we take our 4th RB, we can possibly push it into the hyper fragile build, which is what won Justin Herzig $50,000 in the first year of Best Ball Mania. So we have a 310 build here, and at wide receiver, good old reliable. Let's get down to Chris Godwin. And then we are 2 picks away on another of the Millie Maker teams. This is the 1260 team where we have Stefan Diggs. And there, let's add in Joku, who's fallen 12 spots past ADP. We are on clock elsewhere with 10 seconds, and we'll add George Pickens. Too many running backs on that one to pass up a wide receiver there. And that feels like it must have been the auto draft team, which went Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, Ramondre, DJ Moore, Justin Fields, George Pickens. Back in 1 second on that one. And let's take Kyle Pitts for the week 17 correlation against the Bears. You can see I've got the spike week overlay on there, which definitely makes this a little bit easier in terms of seeing those correlations and what's coming up. The next one we have is one of the $3 teams. This is our Bijan Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Deebo Samuel, Chris Godwin. We are 2 picks away, and I would like to be adding a wide receiver there. Let's see what you guys in the chat give me. Michael Harry picking 1 pick before us, takes Trevor Lawrence, and I will take Mike Evans for the Bucs stack. I'm going to add Baker to the queue on that one already. And we are 10 picks away, 17 picks away, 6 picks away, 6 picks away. Time for a little water break. How's everyone in the chat feeling about their teams? Oh. Okay, so next up is this team, which is 4 picks away. This is a team where we started on the turn. Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams, Lamar, Travis Etienne. This must have been the auto draft team. Trevor Lawrence, Alexander Mattison, Jordan Addison, George Pickens. It's a little painful seeing Trevor Lawrence there, but we're going to do 2 QB for this team. Build it out however we need to. If Evan Ingram falls to us, then we can live with that because we're getting a 22 spot slide. No, but he goes. Of course he does. This is the way. But we can get down to Zay, and we'll jump on Zay a little earlier. Not something I often do. I always preach kind of taking value where possible, but I don't mind it there because of the situation we found ourselves in. 2250. Let's add Brian Robinson. Oh, no, let's add A.J. Dillon to the mix for some week 17 correlation against Minnesota and Jordan Addison. Over here with 2 picks away. This is another one of our Lamar teams. Amon-Ra, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel. So we're in a kind of nice spot for Ravens wide receivers. And then we have 3 picks away on one of our Millie Maker teams. Oh, Zay Flowers goes just ahead of our pick. Let's see where the Rashad Bateman goes. Rashad Bateman's ADP still being slightly suppressed. People worrying a bit about the fact that he's not available straight away for camp. So we'll be 2 picks away there, 1 pick on another one, and 3 picks. We're going to have to rapid fire a few of these. This Diggs, Waddle, Zay Flowers. Probably looking at running back for this first team. And let's get Elijah Mitchell for a bit of week 16 and 17 correlation. And next, let's move back over to one of the $3 teams where we have Bijan, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Deebo, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. And at pick 80, we could look to either go tight end or wide receiver. 2 picks away on another team. Rapid fire. We've hit the clock on that one. We're in round 8. You know me, I like to hit 5 wide receivers before we get through round 9, so I'll add Elijah Moore. Round 7, we'll add Kyle Pitts to the tight end heavy start to that draft. 2 picks away on our next team, which is a 1-2-4-1 team. The one Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson, DJ Moore, Justin Fields, George Pickens, Kyle Pitts, and Elijah Moore. 1-2-4-1. Nothing massively standing out. A few picks away on other stuff. Just take Rashad Bateman and make sure that we're set at wide receiver. Do have a team here that's auto-drafted. It has Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Josh Burrow. That's going to make that draft room slightly tricky. Our nearest one, we are 3, 18, 12, 5, and 7 picks away. That's it. I mean, look, 6th, 7th round Kyle Pitts. It's too good. I mean, James, I'd love to know which draft you're on about because I have no time for looking at what else everyone else is doing, but I'll trust your word on it. If you started RB, you know me, I'm going wide receiver heavy. If in doubt, pick a wide receiver. That seems to be a good method in life. So Diggs, Waddle, Lamar, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis, Damian Pierce, Zay Flowers, Antonio Gibson, David Njoku, and Elijah Mitchell. I like this team. This one feels pretty good. We can go with, let's see, Jalen Warren, Old Faithful. Nice bet against Najee Harris, which gives us 4th running back on that one. So now there's no real particular needs. Coming up on the turn for this one, where we autoed Trevor Lawrence, or maybe I took Trevor Lawrence. It's all getting a little bit blurry at the minute. And then we are 1 pick away here on a team where we have the 3 running back start, and Kyle Pitts fell to us at the 7:08. I mean, what are we doing? 4th best tight end rookie tight end year of all time. Double on the clock here, 2-3-5-0. Like me some Greg Dulcich. Let's take Romeo Doubs and KJ Osborne, and that one will be done pretty much at wide receiver for the rest of the draft. Here we have 0-3-3-3-1. Jahan Dotson gives us some nice week 17 correlation against the Niners. And we're about to be back up here. Fresh in my memory on a 1-2-7-0. Let's take Khalil Herbert. Yes, there's a bit of doubt about whether he's going to be the out-and-out RB1 in Chicago. Yes, the Bears didn't really use their running backs in a great way, but he's explosive, and for best ball, that's something which I value. Damian Harris makes it back around the turn to us. So with me and the members of the Discord, Fantasy Sanctuary Discord, we went back and forth today about Rashad Bateman or Damian Harris for an FFPC team that we're co-drafting together. Eventually, Damian Harris won out, and I'm very much on board with Damian Harris having a good year this year. So we have 5, 6, 19, 19, and 8 picks away. It could be going a lot worse. I feel like we're doing okay here. We're 4 picks away on the nearest one. This is a team where, the auto drafted quarterbacks. Jamar Chase, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I mean, what if that's what you need in week 17? How could we possibly guess this far out that that's not what you need? A 4-2-3 build through 9 rounds, 3 wide receivers. Couldn't be me. But hey, I've never won $1 million playing best ball, so maybe this guy's right. With our 1-2-5-1 build, I am gonna again go with Khalil Herbert because he gives us week 15. And no, let's go Zach Charbonnet because he gives us that George Pickens, Steelers correlation. Back on the clock on this team, which is a 1-4-6-1 build. Here, let's see what we've got at quarterback. Kenny Pickett gives us a Steelers stack with Jalen Warren and Deontay Johnson. We'll take that. It's going to get a little messy as we get into this stage of the draft. 0-3-5-1. We could do it with a quarterback here, but nothing is really standing out. We'll just panic pick Khalil Herbert and figure that out in a minute. Star a couple of QBs to make life a little easier coming back. Next one is our running back heavy, our robust RB build. Here, let's see what we've got. We've got Dak Prescott falling 11 spots past ADP. Our build really kind of want to be hitting another wide receiver here. Daniel Jones gives us a stack with Saquon Barkley, which is kind of interesting. Aside from that, QB, we're looking later. So we'll go with Odell Beckham. I don't draft Beckham very often at all, but what if we're wrong? What if he's healthy? What if he becomes fantastic in the red zone, which is something that Marquise Brown used to be for Lamar? It was kind of underrated, really. He was very reliable in that way. And when the Rams had Odell Beckham, that was a role which he really grew into. We are 3, 14, 8, 5, and 8 picks away. Nearest one, I have a 2-4-6-1 build. Probably going to stay at 2 quarterbacks in this build. We have David Njoku, so if needs be, we can stay at 2 tight end for that build as well. 1, 13, 5, 3, and 6 picks away. Could get a little congested around here. In terms of players there, we could take Brock Purdy, but I have enough Brock Purdy. Let's take Devin Singletary. I think he's going to be a player who plays plenty. I don't think Dameon Pierce showed enough last year that he can really command everything. 2-3-7-0, absolutely done at quarterback. Probably done with wide receiver. At running back, we can add Raheem Mostert for a little bit of week 17 correlation. In terms of our next pick, let's also look for Chigozie Okonkwo. 20 picks past the ADP all day. We are not adding Justin Field at Cole Kmet because Cole Kmet is not a fantasy relevant tight end. You want to go get a player who scores all his points in 2 weeks? Be my guest. I do not. 1-4-7-0 build here. This is a Lamar build. Probably could do with a quarterback somewhere around here. Take Purdy, which would give us week 16, 17 correlation. 2 picks away on another team is a robust team. We probably need to start thinking about if Daniel Jones makes it to us half a round past ADP, that feels fine for this kind of chaotic approach which we're taking tonight. Nearest one, 2-4-7-0 build, where we just took Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy in the 13th round. When did that happen? I mean, it wasn't that long ago I was taking Brock Purdy in the 18th round. We have no tight ends on that build, so they have been starting to go off the board, but I am not taking Irv Smith because, again, that is not a fantasy-relevant tight end. Bengals targeted the tight ends at the lowest rate of any team in the league last year. We could do with running back. Let's go down to Raheem Mostert. How are we doing in the chat? You guys who are multi-tabling and drafting more than you usually would, how are you feeling? Next nearest team, 1-4-5-1 build, Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson, DJ Moore, Justin Fields, George Pickens, Kyle Pitts, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Zach Charbonnet, Khalil Herbert. I like this team. This one feels good. Had a couple of players in the queue. Gerald Everett, Jalen Warren, both guys who I would like to have more exposure to as we get to this time of year. Could add Darnell Mooney here, but I think what we saw last year from Darnell Mooney is he couldn't earn targets even when he was the only option. 2-5-6-1 build. We will add Mike Gesicki to the mix, which will give us some Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis correlation. One pick away on the next nearest one, where we have 1-4-5-1 build after the auto drafter, who now has 4 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and 1 tight end. Let's see. We have a team with a tight end already, but no quarterbacks. Let's push Gerald Everett around the corner, see if he makes it back. Currently 5 picks, 2 picks, 11 picks, 6 picks, and 7 picks away. If you are here for the first time, if this is your first experience of a Fantasy Sanctuary, hit that subscribe button. It's not always so chaotic. Sometimes we actually do some analysis and talk a little more in depth about players. But we are here to have fun. We're here to help you win your leagues. And we have great plans for in-season, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. I don't know how many of you are watching right now. We did get Gerald Everett to come back. We are currently 3, 28, 3, and 6 picks away. But if you are here, hit the like button. Michael say, I honestly can't understand how you're managing this. Yeah, it is a little bit nuts, and it's all good fun. If you need me to scroll down on Windows, bits like that, do let me know. I'm trying to keep on top of everything. 1 pick away, we go on the clock with a 2-4-6-1 build, 2-4-7-1 build. And again, absolutely do not want any more quarterbacks. In terms of running back and tight end here, we're getting close to being on the clock elsewhere. Let's take Juwan Johnson, and then let's take Kenneth Gainwell. We know today that Nick Sirianni said that it would be a running back by committee in Philadelphia, but Gainwell has some upside, which I'm okay with. 2-5-6-2 build. That feels like we're going to need more wide receivers. Let's take Tim Patrick, a couple of spots ahead of ADP. He's somebody who I was taking when he was free at the end of drafts, and now he's risen up, but I'm still okay with it because I think he's got enough of an upside that if Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy was moved on, then he could easily see a huge amount of targets. 2-5-7-0 build over here. Well, we've got Lamar and Brock Purdy. We could add Sam Howell to this mix and make it a 3 quarterback build. I am trying to add in a couple more 3 quarterback builds than I did last year. Last year, some of the 2 quarterback builds did bite me in the ass, and it was not fun. We'll add Rondale Moore to the mix. I think Rondale Moore is going to play in 2 wide receiver sets more often than people think. Back on the clock with a 3-5-7-0 build over here. We have Purdy, Sam Howell, Lamar, so we're done there. Let's look at tight end. Chuba Hubbard. Gus Bus for a little bit of a Raven stack. And breathe. 7, 9, 20, 15, 6 picks away. So let's go over the nearest one of the $10 milli makers, where we are 2-5-7-2, which was Diggs, Waddle, Lamar, Christian Kirk, DeAndre Johnson, Gabe Davis, Damian Pierce, Zay Flowers, Gibson and Njoku, Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Warren, Kenny Pickett, Devin Singletary, Mike Gesicki, and Tim Patrick. So this one, we are going to be stopping at 2 quarterbacks. We are going to be probably looking at 3 tight ends, but running back wise, I'd be okay if we stopped at 5. Might push that one to 6. Hayden Hurst falls to us, which gives us a little correlation with our Jacksonville stuff with Christian Kirk. So let's add him to the mix and be done with tight end on that one. Next ones with 2 teams at 4 picks away. Just breathing down my neck on that one. This is the auto-drafted team, so that one probably gets to it quicker. If Kenny Pickett makes it here, we will add Kenny Pickett as our second quarterback. His bye week's week 6, which will help us because Fields is week 13, so we can live with that. Oh, one pick away over here, crept up on me. This is a running back heavy build where we have Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Do need to be thinking about another quarterback, but there's nothing that stacks up right now. So let's go Tyler Boyd, 20 picks past ADP. When I'm on the clock like this, absolutely. Kenny Pickett for Jalen Warren, George Pickens stack. It seems like Kenny Pickett's the man of the night. We have a team 3 picks away where I'm at the 2-5-7-2. And we also have one which up there sneaking up on me with the 1-5-6-1. This is our Justin Fields team. What do we have here? We've already got 2 quarterbacks. We could do with more wide receivers. We had Marvin Mims to this. He picked up a slight injury in practice today, but apparently he'll be okay within a few days' time, so that's fine. Breathe. 2-5-7-2 build back with Lamar and Lawrence quarterbacks. So here at running back with Etienne, Alexander Mattison, AJ Dillon, Raheem Mostert, Kenneth Gainwell. Probably want to add another wide receiver. We're on the clock elsewhere, so let's Devontae Parker and let's add Mike Gesicki past ADP. On the clock, 2-5-7-3 build. What do we got going? This was kind of a 0 RB team, so let's add another running back to the mix in Leonard Fournette. Somebody who's up 5 spots in ADP over the course of last week. 14, 16, 8, 20, and 5 picks away. And we are rolling 47 minutes into this stream. Quick crunch of a neck. A little bit of a relaxation. So I actually haven't drafted for about the last week. Spent the weekend away at my dad's house and just dealing with the last few slows, winding down. I'm down from picking about 30 slows at the minute down to just, I think I'm almost at single digits again. So it's been a good one to get the blood pumping. This team, which is 3 picks away, robust RB start. We are at Daniel Jones, our only quarterback. Our only tight end is Kyle Pitts, so we can possibly push that into a 2 QB build. We do have, let's see, we could add Kyler Murray here for the second quarterback. We're 1 pick away. Do have Baker Mayfield in the queue there for Chris Godwin, Mike Evans stack. We're 1 pick away on another team where we started A.J. Brown, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Lamar, Brock Purdy, Sam Howell. So we're done at quarterback. We need to start thinking tight end there. On the clock, back over here, Kyler Murray makes it to us. Absolutely fine adding Kyler Murray to that team. Back on the clock here. And 3-6-7-0. Wide receiver feels pretty good. Running back feels pretty good. We'll reach down to Luke Musgrave, who's a player who I feel like I need slightly more exposure to. All the B reports. Oh, and we got autoed. Auto Trey Lance on a Lamar Kenny Pickett team. I mean, hey, if Trey Lance is what it takes in week 17, I'm almost fine with that. Back over here, need to add another tight end to this one of 3-6-7-1. We'll add Trey McBride, who gives us week 15, 16, 17 correlation. I mean, hey, I know some people push back on correlation stuff, but go read Mike Leone's Best Ball Manifesto. It absolutely is pointing all towards it. We are 4-5, 18, 5, 3 picks away. It is about to get hairy. Let me know in the chat if you are managing to stay on top of your own drafts, if you are multi-drafting. I'm not sure how I'm going to do over the next few minutes. This one is a 2-3-7-1 build. I have 3 teams which are 3 picks away. 2-5-6-2 build. And no, we're down to 4 teams that are 4 picks away. Whew, deep breath. Here we go. We'll take Paris Campbell there for a bit of week 17 correlation on the clock here. 3673 build. If in doubt, pick a wide receiver. And we'll go down to Nelson Aguilar, who gives week 15, 16, 17 correlation on the clock over here. Isaiah Hodgins, who's fallen 13 spots past ADP in a 2-3-7-1 build. I want the running back there. We're going to take Roschon Johnson, who has definitely got a good path to play in. Michael Mayer for our third tight end on that team, and we are on the clock here with 25 seconds left. Oh, no. That one's good. We are one team down. Oh, on the clock over here, 6 seconds left. 2-5-8-3. We will take Juice Vaughn simply because things were getting very hairy there. Too much time celebrating. You got to keep me honest, guys. Wide receiver. Let's see, what have we got? Can't bring myself to take Denzel Mims. It's not looking good. Josh Reynolds, why not? Could definitely start the season strong with Jameson Williams on suspension. So we have one team out of the way. I'm going to come back and I'm absolutely going to review all of these. We are on the clock for this team. And, I have taken the last of my picks in that one. So it's 2 teams out of the way. Draftkings is not being helpful by telling me I'm still on the clock on these teams. So we're in round 17, round 19, and round 15. So we'll go 15, 17, 19, 7, 11, and 9 picks away. Ollie said, Tom is stressing me out. I won't even do two drafts at once. Fantasy Football Garage saying, I've done 3 at once and it's a trip. Tom is a drafting machine. I mean, it's good fun. I think when you get to this point in the season, you've got players which you are high on. There's not been too many players I've taken tonight that I wouldn't normally take. A lot of the time, we're more methodical about how we take the players that we don't usually like. This team's a 2-4-7-1 build. We do need to add another tight end. And in terms of running back, we have 3 players on a week 13 bye, which normally I wouldn't have done. So we will be adding at least one more running back to that build. 3 picks away on this team. Cup Taylor, Stevenson, Sinai Julabi, 6-13, 5, 11, 11. I think we can get by at 5 there. Push it out. We're set at tight end, and we are set at quarterback with Justin Field being early. So wide receiver. Let's add Chase Claypool. I don't hate it at this point. And then 2-4-7-1 build. We definitely need another running back. Tajay Spears is somebody that I've drafted plenty of this year and feel like Derrick Henry could easily end up not on the Titans. 1 pick away in the 19th round here, 2-5-8-3 build. So, yeah, like I said, we could be fine there at running back. Let's add Wan'Dale Robinson. Playing to the idea that he comes back, comes strong down the end. Round 15, round 19, and round 19. 3, 5, and 17 picks away. This team is A.J. Brown, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Lamar Jackson, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Jordan Anderson, Jahan Dotson, Rashad Bateman, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert, Damian Harris, Brock Purdy, Raheem Mostert, Sam Howell, Gus Edwards, Luke Musgrave, Trey McBride. There's a lot about that team that really is, if you've been watching these drafts for me this season, those are a lot of players who I've drafted a lot, talked up a lot, and I'm fine with. Robert Woods makes it back to us. Devontae Parker goes 1 pick ahead of us, who I would have taken. Quite like Robert Woods, and Pat Crane has been talking him up. And when a guy who won $2 million talks a player up, I'm okay just sprinkling in some exposure to them. WWPD, what would Pat do? 2-5-7-1 build here. We definitely need to be thinking about tight ends on this team as things start to calm down a bit. Dawson Knox or Mike Gesicki. I'm going to go with Mike Gesicki. I don't have as much exposure to Mike Gesicki as I want in terms of players who can give you a 15-point game any week. I really believe that Mike Gesicki can do that. 3682 build here. We definitely need to make this a 3 tight end build, and that'll be the last pick on that one. No offense, Zach Ertz. K. Dalton. Let's go with K. Dalton. I've been drafting a bit of him. Feels like he can be on the field an awful lot, and there's not a lot of competition for him. So we are 13 and 8 picks away. If you are in the chat and if you have been drafting alongside, absolutely stick around to the end. We'll take a breath. We'll recap all the different drafts. We'll talk about what I definitely did wrong, because there have been a few mistakes. Not quite as bad as last week's Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox double tap, which, if you haven't watched already, drafted with John Daigle at 4-4. It was a lot of fun, but mistakes were made. There's no way around it. But we ended up having a good team by the end of it. Thank you, James. Appreciate you, man. One of our members from the Fantasy Sanctuary Discord and YouTube. If you want to join, from 99p or $1.25 a month, you can join. Access to a Discord with over 100 people talking about Dynasty, Best Ball, Redraft, offering leagues, startups, all that kind of stuff. Access to mine and Rich's content, access to exclusive members-only content. We really just do want to help you win your leagues. So, 4 picks away, 2593 build. I'm stopping at 2 quarterbacks here because Justin Fields absolutely has to do the business. So 2593, Cal Pitts, Gerald Everett, Michael Mayer. There's no point adding a third tight end. I could add running back, but I feel okay about what I've got. The 2 week 11 buys probably, I guess, pushes me towards it being running back. We're 4 picks away on the next one, so let's just scroll down. Let's add. Ooh, is this Josh Jacobs' team? No. Oh, let's add Abdullah. Everybody's kind of giving this role to Zamir White. It's entirely possible that if Josh Jacobs holds out into the season, which seems like a real possibility, then Amir Abdullah is a player who's been okay. He's been okay in the passing game. He's not a zero. And Zamir White, I had plenty of exposure to Zamir White last year in a hedge against Josh Jacobs, and it turned out to be a complete waste of time. This team, I do have 5 running backs now. I feel pretty set there. Week 30 might be a bit tricky. You're going to need Tajay Spears to play in week 13, but I'm not going to add a 6th running back when I went 3 running back out of the gate. We have Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones. Could possibly look at quarterback here. Definitely consider wide receiver, tight end. We do have Mike Gesicki. So if Isaiah Likely goes 1 spot before, and we'll take Mac Jones, and that feels quite okay as our 3rd quarterback. And we're just kind of winding down now. See how relaxing the pace of one draft feels after you've been drafting 5 at once. This is how to get yourself used to the fast draft pace. Fantasy Football Garage, it's a fun time to look back at some of this far, especially since it's a time when a bunch of friends are now just starting to talk about normal redraft leagues again. My home league has literally just agreed on a data draft. We're a keeper league. It's like a bunch of guys who, some of them have done 4 or 5 best ball drafts. One of my best friends, he does 1 draft a year. That's it. And my mission, is to get him. If I could get him to do 5 drafts at once, I think he might have a heart attack. It's we definitely live in a different bubble when we have been out here drafting teams for months now at this point. And it is absolutely worth looking at your portfolio and saying, okay, I have this, I don't have that. And there are players who I probably want to add a little bit more of, like Romeo Doubs. I feel like he could easily be the answer in Green Bay. You look at players like Alan Lazard. Let's play the miserable hypothetical of what if Garrett Wilson ends up injured? What does that do to Alan Lazard's fantasy value? Yes, he's never going to be incredible, but he could be pretty relevant. Back on the clock, 3572. Talked about, I don't want to add another running back here. Let's add some wide receivers. And let's build our backdoor Patriots stack. So you see, this is one of those situations where the Patriots have really just fallen to us. Now we've got Mac Jones, Devontae Parker, and Mike Gesicki. Don't have anyone on the Buffalo side of things for week 17, but that is okay. How's everyone in the chat doing? I feel like the pace is just quelled down a little bit and everyone's okay. We are going to get to all 5 of those drafts, and I'm going to go through them one by one and talk about them. We have 12 picks, so let's go back to the first one of these Millie Maker teams. Diggs, Waddle, Lamar, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis, Damian Pierce, Zay Flowers, Antonio Gibson, David Njoku, Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Warren, Kenny Pickett, Devin Singletary, Mike Gesicki, Tim Patrick, Hayden Hurst, Leonard Fournette, Trey Lance, Nelson Aguilar. So we got auto-drafted Trey Lance here. I definitely didn't feel like I needed a third quarterback because I had Lamar and Kenny Pickett, and they're not players who have any competition for the starts. So it was a little annoying to get auto-drafted there. Ended with a 3-6-8-3 build. In terms of week 17 correlation, we've got a bit of Lamar, Jalen Waddle, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, which gives that kind of Miami-Baltimore stack. Diggs, Gabe Davis, Mike Gesicki for that New England Buffalo. San Francisco at Washington. If Trey Lance starts in week 17, then it's Trey Lance to Elijah Mitchell, apparently, with Antonio Gibson coming back. Ideally, that's one I would have passed up on. But then Christian Kirk to Hayden Hurst feels fine for Carolina at Jacksonville. 1 pick away here. We have 2 picks left. 3-5-8-2 build with Kyle Pitts as our first tight end. So I'm not really too worried about tight end, but both our tight ends have a week 11 bye, unfortunately. Little details that we don't always notice. We're going to take Logan Thomas. Feels like somebody who possibly should be getting drafted more than he is. Eric Bieniemy is the new offensive coordinator in Washington. We know that he's run tight end heavy schemes, and obviously part of that is because it's Travis Kelce. But Logan Thomas isn't getting drafted in every draft. There is no competition for him in Washington, apart from I think John Bates maybe is the only option. So it's not somebody that I would be too worried about. Going back to this first draft, let's see, who do we know in here? If you were in here, we've got James, 2-6-10-2 build. That's an unusual one. I like the fact that he started Eckler and Barkley, and then he absolutely hammered wide receivers to make up for the fact that through 6 rounds, he only had 2 wide receivers. And that's the way to go. You can absolutely buy your way out of jail on Draftkings by just hitting volume. See down here, an area it's ripe with running backs, an area it's ripe with tight ends. Just hammer those positions. So I think that's definitely a nice team. Deft Angel over at the 11 spot. Double wide receiver start and end up 2-5-10-3 build. 2 very smart guys. No surprise to see him taking loads of wide receivers. 2 picks away from our final pick of this 5 draft bonanza. And we have 3-5-8-3. We are going to add another wide receiver to the mix. And let's add Wan'Dale Robinson, 12 spots past the ADP for the Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley stack. And breathe. We made it. Let's take a look at these teams. If you're in the draft, if you're in the chat, let me know how you feel about them. We're going to rattle through them and then get everybody out of here. Let's close that one out. The second team, so this was another Millie Maker team, the one where I picked on the turn. Amon Ross, St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Lamar Jackson, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, Alexander Mattison, Jordan Addison, George Pickens, Zay Jones, A.J. Dillon, Romeo Doubs, K.J. Osborne, Raheem Mostert, Chigozie Okonkwo, Juwan Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, Juice Vaughn, and Josh Reynolds. In terms of week 17 correlation, we got Alexander Mattison against AJ Dillon. Running backs against each other isn't perfect, but it's not the worst thing for two teams. But could, the Packers, they're going to score points on the ground possibly, so that's fine. Detroit at Dallas, Juice Vaughn, Amon Ra, Josh Reynolds. That doesn't feel particularly glitzy. And then Miami at Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, Raheem Mostert. Lamar runs for 5 touchdowns and Raheem Mostert scores 2. Nothing too good there. In terms of the other teams in here, there's some nice builds. Couple of auto drafters there hogging the quarterbacks, but we can live with that. We just work around it. We build, we do what we do, and stay within structure. And here, this was kind of like a semi-late hero RB build. Really, in hindsight, getting away from wide receiver for 4 picks in a row, I'm not wild about it, but 2693 feels okay. Third one, again, the last of our Millie Maker teams. AJ Brown, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Lamar Jackson, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Jordan Anderson, Jahan Dotson, Rashad Bateman, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert, Damian Harris, Brock Purdy, Raheem Mostert, Sam Howell, Gus Edwards, Luke Musgrave, Trey McBride, Robert Woods, K. Dalton. The one thing that screams out here, this is a weak tight end room. But, yeah, I mean, at a certain point, if you're going to push the wide receivers heavy, as we did here, 2, 4, 6, 7 wide receivers in the first 9 rounds, then it's always going to come at expensive somewhere else. You want to hit running back whilst there's still reliable options. So Gibson, Herbert, Damian Harris are all players that I end up with a lot of on 0 RB, hero RB teams. So I'm kind of fine with that. You can make the argument that possibly didn't need 3 QB build here. But Sam Howell, Brock Purdy, that's a week 17 correlation, and it wouldn't surprise if one of those two isn't playing in week 17. So it gives us access to one of those, say the Ravens are just running up the score by this point of the season and they rest Lamar. Then it means that we probably have at least one of the quarterbacks in that game. So we have Brock Purdy, Sam Howell, Antonio Gibson, Deebo Samuel, Jahan Dotson, Lamar, Raheem Mostert, Gus Edwards, Rashad Bateman, AJ McBrown, Trey McBride, Jordan Addison, Luke Musgrave. In terms of other teams in here, we've got some fun teams. I'm not sure if there's anyone from the chat. Do let me know if you're there. I'm going to move on to the next one, though, because I have been talking for a long time. Picking from a 102, Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson, DJ Moore, Justin Fields, George Pickens, Kyle Pitts, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Charbonnet, Herbert, Jalen Warren, Everett, Pickett, Marvin Mims, Paris Campbell, Michael Mayer, Chase Claypool, Wandale Robinson, Amir Abdullah. 2693 build. A lot of these builds tonight, they were going into these kind of more safer builds for sort of 2693s, for 3583s, because I didn't have the time to be able to concentrate on pushing them into slightly more fragile builds, which I would sometimes do, but I feel like we made it work. Here's a nice example of somewhere that worked well at the 5-2. Getting Justin Fields by taking DJ Moore. I knew I needed a wide receiver there. It would have been easy to take Justin Fields because, 5 quarterbacks gone in the first 4 rounds. But the biggest priority for my team was adding a wide receiver. Because if I'd got through the first 4 rounds without a wide receiver, and then let's say DJ Moore went to the team on return, as well as Terry McLaurin, I would have been faced with George Kittle, Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker, Deontay Johnson. So getting DJ Moore there and deprioritizing the stack in some way, but also knowing there were avenues to figuring out later on felt pretty good. Michael, I know that you're here. 3593 build, double wide receiver start. Mark Andrews falling at 308. Jahmyr Gibbs, Marquise Brown, hitting DeAndre Swift, James Cook, David Montgomery. That's a really nice running back room to pick up between rounds 7 to 9. Lots like there. The Russ Dulcich stack. Very nice team. Very nicely done. Luke at the back end, taking Bijan, Garrett Wilson. Josh Jacobs at 312. That feels like something which we might see a little more of. But Breece Hall in the 4th round all day. Again, a very nice team. And then over to the last one. 3593 build. This was a kind of build which was very common in last year's final. I think it was one of the top 3 builds out of all the different kind of roster constructions that made it. Bijan Barkley, Josh Jacobs. The only problem here, in hindsight, maybe I should have taken Breece Hall so that my first 3 running backs were on different bye weeks, and then I could have stopped at 4. Whereas I did Roshan Johnson and Tajay Spears, who both shared bye weeks. Sorry, Johnson shared the week 13 bye week, so I really will need Tajay to stay active at that point in the season. But if I can start Deebo Samuel and Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, my wide receiver 1, 2, 3, I feel like that's okay. Odell Beckham, I'm not going to draft much Odell Beckham, but again, you're looking at Michael Thomas, Nico Collins creeping up into the 9th round. It gets pretty bare pretty soon. Sky Moore now being hyped up because Kadarius Toney's injured, Zay Jones. It's not an area which I'm in love with, so I do not hate it. But yes. So Michael saying Mr. Double QB bye week on this one. I had to take Tannehill late on. Yeah, I mean, these things happen when you double drafting, triple drafting, quintuple drafting. Appreciate Rich for the superb work and Michael. If you've been here, I really do appreciate you. You know, this was a solo one. Wasn't quite sure what we were going to do this week when Justin said that you need it postponed next week. But next week, Justin Herzig will be back. We're going to do a show. We're going to talk about the 2023 best ball landscape, talk about how it's changed since he won Best Ball Mania 1, 3 years ago. The week after that, we'll be doing the Fantasy Pros $350 high stakes redraft draft live, and we'll very much be taking your questions as we go there. But loads more redraft content coming soon. If you are here, if you've enjoyed it, thanks for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to be over on 4for4's channel in about 45 minutes time for the Best Ball Happy Hour, diving into some underdog drafts. We will be back very soon.